Okay, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining on this Sunday morning, which is bit snowy outside, but yeah, thanks for taking out time and joining. Um, so, for those who would be interested in our upcoming batch, we have planned for a holiday season batch starting on 20th of December. This batch would be uh, unlike our previous batches or usual batches where we take over the weekends. This time we would be having during the weekdays as well. As of now, our plan is that we want to um, do classes on each day starting from 20th of December until 28th of December. Timings we have kept 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is flexible based on learners who enroll in the course, and also in terms of the date, we would want to be flexible as well. So if there are people who are joining who don't have off on some of these days, we would be flexible, and we would be okay to move the dates out in case it doesn't suit the availability of the learners as well as instructors. So in terms of instructors are available, and that's why we have planned for this uh, holiday season batch, which would be just 8 days, unlike our usual batches, which goes for over 4 weekends. And we'll be taking on Google Meet, so we'll be recording the sessions. And if you're um, not able to make it any of the classes, which we highly recommend, um, but in case if you are not able to make it, you can catch up with the recordings. And in terms of what you will learn from the course, you can go through this course page on our website. All right, so if you have um, anyone who could be interested in the course, feel free to uh, reach out, share to us. We do have referral bonus as well. So encourage you to share this with your friends, family, and connections who would benefit from the course. Okay, so with that, we will start with the agenda for our session, and we'll start off with the major US index analysis. Then we'll go on to the Canadian index, and then follow up with the request from members who are on this call. So starting off first with DJI, Dow Jones Index. Um, the last week it has had an upward trend. It's almost close to the upper Bollinger Band, but not touch the exact upper Bollinger Band level yet, or the all-time high. In terms of the indicators are almost touching the oversold region, not the overbought region, not entirely in the overbought region. So you can expect high to be closer to the high that it had in the last session, and could go slightly up. However, because it is near the overbought region on the daily chart, you can expect profit booking to happen, and um, there could be some short positions opening in the based on the daily trend. If you look on the weekly chart candle is comparatively stronger. uh, the indicators are also slightly up. I have Williams R and RSI. You could add other indicators as well, but in terms of the trend, the indicators are indicating slight up higher move, but then the resistance is way closer in terms of the all-time high. So, in fact, on a weekly chart, the last week's high of 48,133 um, touched the upper Bollinger Band. So, if you had entered in any of the positions last week, for stocks which are tracked by DJI, it could be good time to book your profits. at least about 60 to 75% of your positions you could plan to book your profits. Now let's look at SPX as well. S&P 500, again it was also in the upward trend. In terms of the resistance, it had touched the resistance level here at 6,900 on the last session, although it made a high of 6895, which is almost like it touching 6,900. um, in the last session itself there has been some profit booking happening, and those who have taken our course would understand this candle, which indicates the market has had upward price rejection. In terms of the Williams R, it was in overbought condition and has slightly turned downward because of the candle that we see on the last session. RSI has not touched 70 yet, but then in terms of the upside, there's little upside if you look at all time high. All time high was 6,920, so about 25 points lower. But then only hold your smaller quantity positions if you're expecting it to go higher than the high that it made in the last session. Looking on the weekly chart upper Bollinger Band and the resistance level is showing the high of in fact the all-time high. So just a small upside potentially, but if you are someone who had taken a swing position, it would be good time to book your profits even for S&P 500 stocks. And let's see nasdaq 100 as well. Top 100 tech stocks, the same candle that we saw on S&P 500. This we call it as, technically we call it as gravestone doji. It has formed in the uptrend towards the upper Bollinger Band, which is which could be acting as a resistance. And for those who trade with support and resistances, this pattern it has formed near the resistance, meaning people who trade based on the technicals, they have already started booking their profits. So if you haven't, um, it would be good time for you to book your profits as well. And you could hold some small quantity positions just in case if it goes towards the all-time high. So looking at DJI, SPX, and Nasdaq 100, the daily trends are almost hitting the overbought region. Weekly is showing there could be a slight higher high in the coming week, but then with the profit booking, you would not want to lose your profit. So it would be good if you plan to book profits in majority of your quantity, and um, watch closely how the market trend goes after Tuesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, we might see some reversal if uh, profit booking happens in higher quantity. Any questions for these indexes? If there are no questions, then we'll go on to TSX, which is the Canadian index, TSX composite. And this I have it on a daily chart. For TSX, it has already formed a bearish pattern, although it did not touch the upper Bollinger Band. But this level close to 31,000 500. Here also it made a high of 31,541 and has started seeing profit booking or selling, rather, with the candle that we see on the daily chart. If we look on a weekly chart, it has formed what we call it as doji. So the market has closed lower than the high that it made in the last week, with a long wicks on both sides, meaning there has been lower price rejection and upward price rejection. However, because it has closed lower than the high of previous week or last to last week, it tends to show that market is more of selling rather than planning to hold for higher resistance levels, which, although the upper Bollinger Band is upward, but if you would like to play safe, it would be good to exit your profits or book your profits and exit from your positions. And especially looking at daily chart, the resistance to the sup- support to look for would be around these levels. This we are looking on a daily chart. So 30,755 would be the levels that you could look for TSX. I know many of you trade in crypto, so I will take BTC, and this is in USD. I'll start off with weekly chart for cryptos because it has been on a weekly downtrend. Last to last week, it got pulled up. Uh, 2 weeks back, it was outside the lower Bollinger Band, and market pulled it back last to last week. Um, and last week, it had again sort of a doji movement, but with the longer lower week, it indicates that market is trying to pull it up from this support level here at 83,000 or close to 84,000. With this pattern on
Pull
a
it
week,
down or pull it up? It was 90,000, right? Like, or 88,000 last Friday.
yeah. So the with the lower long week, uh, market is trying to pull it up. If I said down, then thanks for correcting, Lubna. So with the longer lower week, market is trying to pull it up. However, with the upper week as well, there has been selling from the upward side too. With the small red body that it has formed, um, it it indicates that there's still some bearish sentiment in the market. So we'll see closely on a daily chart um, how the trend could be in at the start of the week. Overall, looking at the weekly trend for few weeks, because the candles were almost under the lower Bollinger Band or near the lower Bollinger Band, we could expect some buying to take it up, and it has already touched the support level. So the next level to watch for targets would be this level here close to 101k, 101k, and even this level which it has already touched in the last 2 weeks, since the high of the last week candle was higher than the previous week. if it crosses this resistance level, we can expect it to go to the next resistance, which would be close to 101K. And then mid
Oh.
Bollinger Band is 105 or 106. So that would be the next resistance to watch.
And Kamal, when should we expect this? Like a long position Monday को ही ले लें या उसको कुछ wait करें कोई support तोड़ने का या ना तोड़ने का या entry ले लें?
Yeah, a good question. So this we are looking on a weekly chart. To
Hmm.
answer your question, let's see on a daily chart. And it seems Nilang, you had some question.
Yeah, I was going to ask, would you expect it to go up or make more sideways movement? Because I'm looking at last few days, at least the Bitcoin, the crypto market seems like it's more trending towards sideways movement rather than going up. I think it's trying to test resistance and support both.
Yeah. So as Nilang, you are looking on a daily chart. So let's see it on the daily chart, and then I'll comment on your observation, which I would say is right. If we see here, which is 21st of November, it took uh, it almost closer to this support at 84,400. It took support on 22nd as well, and then on 23rd, the market
Yeah.
brought its price up. Since then, it has taken a small uptrend, faced resistance at mid Bollinger Band, has come down, touched the support again, got pulled up, and in the last session, or in fact, this would be today's session, uh, the candle that it is forming as of now is indicating that it will go up. As it goes up, the next resistance would be 95,200. This upper Bollinger Band is coming downward. In fact, it could be this level. 94,200 would be the resistance. And that, if you look, it would appear to you that it's trading in a small channel or a box. So your observation is completely right. Um, as of now, just based on the daily candles from the current price, we can expect its price to go up around 6K, um,
Ah.
to touch this resistance level. When it is at this level, depending upon the volume, whether it breaks this resistance or no would be something that you should be closely watching for. Based on the weekly pattern, it should be able to break that resistance to reach the 100, around the resistance that we saw close to 101K. So however, it would depend upon the volume. If
So,
the volume is not strong, then it could
hmm.
face resistance again here, come down, and then go further up.
And Kamal, ये it will happen in 1 week or longer time frame?
This what we are seeing as of now, and as we are talking, because Bitcoin is still trading, so
Hmm.
the market is taking its price up. So
Hmm.
95K we can expect in 5 to 6 days within this trading
Hmm.
week.
Hmm.
Whether it faces this resistance or no, we will be able to
We
see
will
by
see.
next week.
But you are right. Generally, market predictions are कि ये 102 और 104 के बीच में चला जाएगा ना अगर वही ऑफ कोर्स 95 क्रॉस करे लेकिन इसकी डायरेक्शन अपवर्ड ही है ना और दूसरा ये
Yes.
कि इस वीक में किसी ने मंडे को कहा था कि वो एमएसटीआर को खरीदने का अच्छा टाइम है 155 पे था उस वक्त और लेकिन उस वक्त क्योंकि इतना वो बिटकॉइन उस वक्त तो लग नहीं रहा था कि ये वापस हो जाएगा ना 85 या कहाँ था उस वक्त तो बट दैट वाज अगेन अ गुड अलर्ट कि एमएसटीआर फिर वहां से 190 तक चला गया मेरा ख्याल है जो है एक दो दिन में ही
Yes. Yes. So MSTR because uh, MicroStrategy, they invest heavily in Bitcoin, so Bitcoin's trend has an impact on MSTR as well. Vivek has also requested MSTR, so MSTR and MSTY we will discuss in the analysis as well. But yeah, your point is right. It was good time to add two positions if you are already on MSTR or MSTY, at least for a short term. Although it gives good dividend as well, which we'll see for MSTY. Okay, and any other crypto related stocks or ETF anyone is holding that we can cover up now before I go to gold and crude oil? Okay, if when we are taking MSTR, we can take those as well. I'll take first gold futures. I'll start from weekly chart. Okay, so for gold, based on the candles that it has formed in the last two sessions, it is facing resistance around 42,050. I would say close to 42,000, 5860. With the candle that it has formed, because it is facing resistance at this level and it's uh, not closer to the all-time high, it indicates that there is a bearish sentiment. So although the candle is doji, and for clarity you might watch this week as well, but it's an indication that there is selling or more of sellers in the market than buyers for gold. And if we see on the daily chart, at the start of the week it touched the upper Bollinger Band. It was in overbought region, had some selling. In the last session it tried to go up, but then it formed a gravestone doji. So with the pattern that we see on the daily chart, um, it looks good to buy put for a strike, at least this small gap that we see here. So the strike price of 41,050 for those who are trading gold futures. And with this daily chart candle, even if you are just trading gold or holding gold ETF, it would be good to book your profits, because on the daily chart it's clear that it's going to go downward. On the weekly we saw it was doji, more of bearish. It's more clearer on the daily chart that you can expect it to go downwards. Although it did not touch the upper Bollinger Band, however, uh, the market attempted and was more selling at the top. So safer trade would be to book your profits in the gold stock or ETFs that you are holding, or if you are trading gold futures, future options, it could be good to take put option for a strike of 4150. If the selling is happening in higher volume, even 40,000, sorry, 4,000 could be good strike price as well. Although you should choose farther expiry if you are planning to choose 4,000 as the strike price, at least. 2 to 4 weeks. Premiums would be higher if you're choosing further expiry. But yeah, if you're planning to choose 4,000 as a strike price, make sure that you give enough time for puts to be in profit. All right, so next we will also cover crude oil. Again, I'll start off from weekly. So for crude oil, it was on downtrend, and mostly because Trump wanted prices to be down. However, now we see that it has started reversing. In the last 2 weeks, it has moved up. Currently, it is at 60. The upper Bollinger Band is at 61, 64. Um, Even if you look for 6150, that could be the first target. Or even if you are trading crude oil future options, 6150 could be the strike price that you could choose for a call which has expiry about 5 days or over a week. And this we are looking on a weekly trend. If the bullish trend continues, then the next resistance would be at 65. The upper Bollinger Band is currently up, but expect it to come downward at this resistance. 65 seems to be a strong resistance. So that could be your target price too on a weekly basis. If you look at daily chart, for those who have learned from the course, it's almost forming three white soldiers, although there are wicks both on top and bottom, but there has been consistent upward move. There was some selling on Friday, possibly those who would have entered here or even here could have booked some profits. But looking at the weekly trend, and also if you look closely at the upper Bollinger Band, it has curved up. Mid Bollinger Band has curved up. Lower Bollinger Band is also like slightly up, although it's getting little flat. But looking at mid and upper Bollinger Band, the trend is upward, and we can see confirmation on the weekly chart as well. So if you haven't entered in, or if you are not holding any of the um, crude oil related stocks or ETF, even at this levels, it's still okay to enter if you are looking at 61.5 as the first resistance. And if you are willing to take a swing trade for 4 to 5 weeks or over a month, then the next target would be 61. No, sorry, 65. Okay. All right. So, any questions on any of the indexes and commodities that we discussed? If not, then I'll go on to the request in the chat. And Vivek Krishna has requested MSTR or MSTY, and Lubna also mentioned. So let's start with MSTR. Okay. First, looking at the weekly chart. On a weekly chart, it was under lower Bollinger Band last to last week. Last week, market tried to pull it up. This 200 EMA at 184, close to 185. acted as the resistance or the level for profit booking for those who would have entered lower. In terms of its trend, just looking at the daily chart, no, on a weekly chart, it's clearly in the oversold region, and that's why you see buyers coming in, and it has given an upward move. Um, because this is on a weekly chart, so this would be for those who are going to take trade for uh, swing trade for few weeks. uh, from the current level, in terms of resistance, the first resistance was at 185. The next resistance, let me see if I saw it here. Yeah, so the next resistance um, is this 5 EMA here. It is at 202, but because it's downward, there's a resistance close to 200. That could be the first resistance, and we are seeing this on a weekly chart. If it breaks that 200 resistance and goes up, then based on these lower weeks on the weekly chart, the next resistance to watch for would be 235, which from the current levels is a good upward move. However, if you have not entered and you would like to enter, looking at the, let's look at the daily chart. On the daily chart, based on these two candles, the candle on Thursday was a doji candle. um, Prior 3 days was an upward move, but then a doji candle indicated that it had touched its first resistance and there was profit booking, which could be seen clearly on the last session. Because it has formed this candle, and you can see clearly on the indicators that on the daily chart it has turned downward, which means you can expect it to go further down from 178.38. There's a gap up here which it might close this week itself based on the indicators. Although the trend that we saw on Bitcoin could mean that it may just have a weak movement to close this gap and go further up. Uh, in that case, this level of 172 here would be a very good buy price for those who have not entered it and would like to take a new position.
So MSTR, Kamal.
Yeah,
Okay, at what price level we can enter?
at 172. So there is a small gap here,
Ah,
but it could be just a weak movement.
ah.
So you have to keep your uh, buy orders
Orders
in.
ready.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. The high here was 172.18. So if you
Hmm.
would really like to enter, you could give few cents higher, let's say 172.5, so that when
Hmm.
it touches, your order executes
Hmm.
and it goes further up.
एंड कमल एमएसटीआर जैसे अब ठीक है 172.5 देख लिया बट फॉर अ स्टॉक लाइक एमएसटीआर इवन इफ यू टेक entry at when 173 just because you don't want to miss the move it's okay because whenever it moves in like big magnitude,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that's because of Bitcoin's move as well. So people trade in higher volumes. So yeah,
ATR ज्यादा है ना?
yes,
Yes.
yes. That's right. Yeah. So you could plan to keep a buy order, and expect, like, based on this pattern, uh, it may not happen on Monday, but it could happen on Tuesday, wherein it just gives a dip, and then market could take it further up. Because on the weekly chart it's stronger, let's also just check on the monthly chart, just so that we don't rule out any further downward move. So if you look on a monthly chart, there's a strong support, a strong resistance here, which would now act as support. So this level here, close to 172, is the resistance which will now act as support. If due to some reason, if there's some negative news or negative sentiment, and if it drops, then the next support level would be at 120. So from that point of view, you should make sure that you have stop loss for your positions. The low here was at 155. The lower Bollinger Band is at 150. This could move up, even though if it comes down. So you can keep your stop loss at 145 if you are entering at around 172, 173. That would be or $25 stop loss, in which case your target should be higher. Or if you would like to be more safer and avoid losing if it goes further down, then 166 was a support here. You can keep your stop loss at 164 or 163, so about $10 stop loss. So this would be to make sure that in case it goes further down based on the monthly trend, you don't lose much. Although on the monthly basis as well, it's in the oversold region. So there's not much downside on the monthly trend as well. The indicators have flattened, it is at support. So based on this, it should go up. However, in order to have risk management in place, and because the trend that it has formed on the last two sessions, do keep your stop losses in place. Now, talking about the targets, so this is daily. Let me change this to weekly. Yeah. Okay. So targets, we discussed the weekly target of 202, which is of 200, which is also the mid Bollinger Band level here on daily chart. So if you enter at 173, or even if you enter in the next session near the current price, if you are entering near the current price, your stop loss should be the low of this, which is 175, in case if you are planning to enter at the current price. Although based on this gap here, you shouldn't be entering, but if Bitcoin gives a positive move and today there is a gap up, and if you'd like to enter, then in that case you should have your stop loss at 175 or 173. Now for your targets, 200 would be your first target. The second target shows at 211. Let me check if there is a resistance. On a weekly chart, we saw 233, which is the level also for upper Bollinger Band. That can be your target price 3. Your target price 2 can be at 220.
Hmm.
So 200, 199, 200 your first target, 220 your second target, and 235 your third target. 233 to 235 could be your third target.
कमल, अगर बिटकॉइन 102 टच करता है तो ये चला जाएगा 235 पे, राइट?
Yes, yes. If
कह रहे
Bitcoin,
दिसंबर से पहले करेगा, बिकॉज दिसंबर में ना यूजुअली अगर आप हिस्टोरिकल ट्रेंड देखें तो वो बिटकॉइन की रैली होती है, स्पेशली इन इलेक्शन ईयर.
yes, yes. It, until first week of January, first to second week of January, Bitcoin typically has a bullish move.
लास्ट ईयर भी
So
यही हुआ था, मेरे बहुत पैसे बने, फिर मैंने वो ले लिया, मेरा 4,000 का लॉस भी हो गया था, क्योंकि वो एकदम फर्स्ट वीक के बाद वो रिवर्स हो गया था, मेरा ख्याल है फर्स्ट या सेकंड वीक में ना. हम्म.
yeah, yeah. So that's
हम्म.
uh, what Lubna is sharing is the trend that you would typically see for Bitcoin towards the end of the year and the start of the year. It has an upward or a bullish move, and it's kind of a quick rally, and then you will see profit booking and downward trend coming. So yeah, if you are looking at 101 target for Bitcoin, this target of 220 and 230 to 35 could be possible for MSTR. And let's quickly check for MSTY as well. Similar trend what we saw on MSTR, it's also under 200 EMA, under the lower Bollinger Band. Indicators have turned up on a weekly basis. That's how it came up in our indicators or screeners rather. And just the last session it had dropped. So if you are planning to enter, this high here was 669, so you could enter at 670, or to be more sure that your order executes at $6.75, and your first target would be, would say, $7.50, $7.55. Second target 820, and then third target would be around $8.85 or $8.80 to make sure that your order executes. And because it gives dividend and the dividends are weekly dividends, so if you hold for a few weeks, you would be collecting dividends as well. That would be additional profit.
Well, this is on US or Canadian? Because
uh,
both are there.
yes, so this one is US, and I do have Canadian as well. Canadian one gives
Same
monthly
MSTY
dividend
only.
instead of
Yeah.
MS, uh, MSYTL.
MSTY only, but in Canadian.
Yeah, yeah. So the difference between Canadian and US one is that because it's US one is listed on NYSE, they give weekly dividend, and the one listed, I think it's listed on NEO, I believe, um, that gives monthly dividend. The dividend yield is smaller, but for those who are holding um, in account which doesn't have USD uh, USD amount, then you can hold the MSTY listed on Canadian. It's not this one. I see. Yeah, Neo. So you could hold this as well. And the first target for This would be 5.4, then 6, 5.75, and then 630. That's just on the weekly pattern. Yeah, 6. Can take 610 would be the third target. And although the weekly chart has mid Bollinger Band and upper Bollinger Bands much higher, these are the initial levels that you should be watching for in case Bitcoin starts facing resistance at close to 100K or 101K. All right, so we will move further. LSPD, Nilang has requested light speed. This is weekly, and it's a nice find, Nilang, based on the pattern that it has formed on a weekly chart. Clear reversal. There's lower price rejection and a bullish engulfing. Um, it has reversed on a weekly basis. On a daily chart, the indicators have gone up. It has not reached the overbought region, which means you can expect it to go higher, although it crossed the or it touched the mid Bollinger Band last week. So there could be some profit booking, but the overall trend is upward. So if you are someone trading option, you could also take an option of strike price 12. And for Nilang, if you are trading stock, uh, 12.3 are the immediate targets, or even it could go close to 12.5. Keep a target of 12.4. Although, yeah, actually it can go 12.5 as well. So you can keep 12.5. If it doesn't execute, then reduce by few cent. That could be the second target. The upper Bollinger Band has current level of 1330. Just it has turned downward, and if you look at the previous levels, 1330 could still act as the resistance. So that could be your third target. If it reaches this 1330 level fast in terms of volume and it takes um, lesser number of days, then you could keep some positions for the high here at 1370 as well. That could be your TP for just for smaller quantity. Lubna, I see your hand up. Do you have a question?
नॉट क्वेश्चन, मुझे नहीं पता ये लिखते कैसे हैं। मुझे 2 स्टॉक्स डालने हैं इसमें, अल्टा और गूगल।
Okay. Yeah. Google, I understood. What was the first one? You can
अल्टा,
type
ULTA।
it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Just remind me if in case I forget, but let me type in.
Hmm.
And
And crypto lovers, Kamal, one more thing. I'm not asking you to do analysis of it, but CRCL, ये जो है ना बड़ा अच्छा चलता है। इसके ऑप्शंस भी सस्ते हैं और ये वो क्रिप्टो के वॉल्यूम के साथ चलता है, बिकॉज इट्स इन एक्सचेंज ना। तो
yes,
CRCL सस्ता है। हम्म।
right. Yeah. Thanks for mentioning. It's called Circle. It's my watch list as well. It's a they, they have a platform, so trading platform. Oh, yeah. We will come to those requests. Lubna, I have added your request in the chat. We will continue with um, Nilang's request of BB, that's BlackBerry. Okay, nice. Thanks, Nilang, for screening stocks which have shown reversal on a weekly basis. So again, BlackBerry has also formed bullish engulfing. Last 4 sessions, it has been in the uptrend. If Nilang, are you already on it or you want to enter?
I'm already on it, but I had bought long back at a higher price. So I'm thinking, should I just buy to, I mean, average down? And it's showing up for trend. So if I can
Right.
have average down, it might help. Sorry, my daughter is.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. So yeah, good for uh, tracking the reversal because it has closed above the upper Bollinger Band, and in last 4 sessions it has gone up. So for those who would have entered around this point, they would try to do some profit booking. So if you are planning to average down, um, I would suggest to buy it at $4.20. So this 5 EMA here, this blue line, this light blue line that that you see is EMA 5. So when profit booking happens, market typically uh, takes support at 5 EMA, or 5 EMA acts as resistance when it is down. So as you can see here it acted as resistance. When there's profit booking that will happen, it will act as support. Currently it is at 417. You can expect it to go slightly up, so you can average down at 420, which could act as support as well. If you see these levels, it's slightly below the mid Bollinger Band, and because the lower wick was lower, it it could come back to this support level. So it's 421, 422. On a safer side, you could keep a limit buy at 425 um, instead of current level. So it will be few cents lower, um, but just to make sure that your order executes as well. So you could buy at 425. And in terms of targets, see if you can average down such that your average price comes closer to 4.6, which is the upper Bollinger Band here on a daily chart. You'll have to put in the quantity of your current position and the quantity that you can buy. If your average is still higher, than the next level that would look for would be close to $5. So that way you can come out at break even or some small profits. So buy at 425 such that your average is closer to 4.6 or 4.9, 4.95. Okay. Yeah, even on a monthly chart, the upper Bollinger Band is 530. So you could, if your position is still negative, at least your losses will be reduced. Next we'll go to Raj's request. SMPL, simply good. Name is good. Okay, so this one I'll keep it as stay. I wanted to see weekly, and if I change to monthly, what happens? Okay, so I'm closing this to see what's the support level. So Raj, just so that can get a clearer view. So on a monthly basis, it has been on a downtrend starting from last year, so almost a year of downtrend, and the monthly support would be close to $17. The low that it made recently is 1856. So in terms of the monthly, weekly, it has not shown reversal. On a daily, it has given a reversal. So at this price, purely based on daily reversal, if I were to enter, I would suggest to enter in a small quantity. Reason being, on a monthly basis, I still see that there's at least about $1.5 further downtrend expected for it to reach the monthly support. Although it's under the lower Bollinger Band on a monthly chart, and market would try to bring it price up. So if you would like to enter at its current price, knowing that the monthly trend is gonna be upward, probably sometime towards uh, end of this month or next month, you could enter in small quantity now, and if it drops at this level of $17, you could increase your quantity. If this acts as a reversal based on what we are seeing on a daily chart, because daily chart obviously gives early reversal, on weekly chart it has not given reversal yet. So if you are okay to wait for confirmation and buy about $1 higher as well, that could be less riskier approach. So essentially I'm suggesting two ways. Either you could buy small quantity now and wait for confirmation on reversal on a daily and weekly basis, and then increase your quantity. Or if it drops to this support level, then you can increase your quantity for now, so that you don't lose tracking. You could still, and uh, not missing out, you could still open up small quantity position. Yes, Neelam.
Okay.
Even on monthly, doesn't it look like this is already sitting at a strong support, because there are quite a few weeks ending around the area where it is right now, somewhere around 2020. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
it
So
might.
this, yes, yes. So around 2014, it was at the current level where it acted as resistance back then and could
Yeah.
act as support. However, if we look at 2020, it it had a support close to $17, and
Mm.
that too, this support which I'm looking is on a closing body of the candle, not even the week.
Mm.
So that's why I'm saying that there could be a further drop of $2.
$2.
But
Okay.
yeah, but if it takes this resistance as the support now, and you don't want to lose out, that's why I'm suggesting that you could still open a position, but in a smaller quantity than
Okay.
the usual quantity that you would prefer.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
No problem. All right. Next is TOI. Okay, so TOI, upon its earnings, it had gone up, but now it has started going down. Let me on a weekly chart. I like to hold this. I'll leave it over. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. So TOI on the weekly chart, it has closed under the 200 EMA. It touched the lower Bollinger Band, and you see lower Bollinger Band, mid Bollinger Band, it has curved downward. Although the band is trying to expand, or mid Bollinger Band is almost flattened, uh, and lower Bollinger Band is lower. So if you would like to enter or add to your positions, look for this support at $2.88 or $2.90. It's in over sold region on the weekly chart, but if you look on daily chart, the no, sorry, monthly chart, it has formed gravestone doji and could even drop further up to 2.5. So instead of buying at 280, I would actually suggest to wait for it to see if it comes down to 250 and takes support. That would be the good buying level for this. Based on weekly candle, its trend is downward. In the last session, it had gone up but has reversed down. So 288 that we see on weekly levels is also here, which is 200 EMA. It took support on 200 EMA, which typically acts as a strong support, and went up. But then this last session's move shows that it might come down, and it this time, if it comes with a higher volume, it might break this support. So watch for this 280 to 88 level. Um, if it breaks this, then 250 would be the buy price. If you are already on it, the targets to look for would be 350 and 375. That's on a daily chart, and on a weekly basis, close to $4 would be the target 3, and 440, 445 would be target 4. But because this is weekly, it could take weeks to few months for this target. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. XRP. Again, XRP would follow the analysis that we discussed for Bitcoin. Um, I mean, in terms of the trend, overall trend, it could have a bullish move. And looking on, this is weekly, this is, let me change to it. Okay. Yeah, so the weekly, it has not shown complete reversal on RSI. However, if you look on Williams R, which gives early indication, it has given a reversal. And we look here, it's actually at this support level, and so you see buyers coming in. It's a clear reversal on a daily chart. So even at the current level, $2. If you are planning to enter, it's a good buy. For first target at 225, second target 245, and if the volume is higher, which typically for cryptos and XRP could be, uh, so 260, that's on the mid Bollinger Band on weekly chart. So from current levels, buying at $2 and selling at 225 is already good return, 12.5, and then you could hold it for it to touch 2.5. So with this move, you could enter in good quantity at the current level as well. Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
you're welcome. And okay, so next we have ULTA from Lubna. All right, Ultra Beauty has given Ultra Beauty move, gap up.
It always does, and I have bought put on Friday towards the end.
Okay, so it has given a gap up
Mm.
and over, obviously overbought both in
Mm.
daily, weekly indicators are in overbought. So
Mm.
the only thing to be watchful would be is that on a weekly chart,
Mm.
it has not given a small upward week. Means it's not entirely green maru bazu, but
Mm.
it is a green body candle.
On
So
weekly,
on weekly,
it
okay,
can go further up.
it can go further up. However, because of this gap up, if
Uh,
you have further expiry,
uh,
your put should give you money. So
19th
what,
of December का put है.
19th of December, yeah, you have 2 weeks. So 2 weeks should be good for you to
Mm.
uh, book good profit. So in terms of the strike price, what's the strike price that you choose?
545 I think if I remember correctly, लेकिन मुझे 555 लेनी थी, मगर वो बहुत महंगा था, उसका स्प्रेड ज्यादा था, तो आई वाज लाइक 545, क्योंकि इसमें $5-10 से इतना फर्क पड़ता नहीं है, जिस दिन भी ये गिरेगा गैप डाउन तो फिर वो मेरा ऑप्शन आ जाएगा, एंड आई डोंट वांट टू होल्ड इट अंटिल एक्सपायरी, इसी वीक में किसी दिन क्लोज कर दूंगी ना.
Yeah. So
मुझे
I would
डेढ़
say,
रुपए का मिला, और पूरे दिन में सबसे नीचे वही था 1.5, बट बाद में शायद वो क्लोज, ये 1.1 पे भी कुछ ट्रेड हुआ ना, एक आधा ऑप्शन, बट
mhm.
आई बॉट इट एट 1.5.
Yeah, I would say it's a good trade. Looking on the 4 hour chart, it
हम्म.
is showing that it has started going down, and
हाँ.
the lower Bollinger Band on 4 hour chart is 525.30,
हम्म.
which means your
हम्म.
545, uh,
शिपिंग.
545 strike is good. Um,
हम्म.
your 550 strike price would have given,
बहुत
like in
अच्छी
terms of,
होती वो.
so
देख, बट
yeah,
दैट
it would,
वाज वेरी एक्सपेंसिव. ये आई वाज लाइक 1.5 का मिला है, नीचे गया तो एवरेज भी कर सकते हैं, मगर अल्टा का ना, अगर ये गैप डाउन करेगा तो यही ऑप्शन 5-10 रुपए का हो जाता है एकदम से, बिकॉज ऑफ बिग मूव्स.
yes, and also because this stock price is big, so the ATR move in on a daily basis would be bigger in terms of dollar value. So your put will be in money. And let me change this to daily. So in a day it moves close to $22.
तो
So
बस वी विल बी गुड। मैंने 610 पे खरीदा था, 600 तो पहले ही हो गया है।
right, 610 is really a good
हम्म
strike price that you sold. So high was six
हम्म,
eleven ninety,
हम्म,
which means you sold
हाँ हाँ
almost high. So
हाँ, और फिर ये पुट खरीद लिया मैंने उसी वक्त ना।
nice, nice. So this is a good trade, and especially looking on the daily chart, you should hold on to it, even though weekly is showing that it might go slightly up, but
हम्म
there should be selling or profit booking happening, which should help
हम्म
you to book profits in your put trades.
हम्म।
Okay. Yeah. So
और ईयर में ईयरली बेसिस पे कमल अगर इसको देखे ना 98% ऊपर गया है 309 से।
yeah. So it has almost doubled.
हम्म
Um, 309 to 318 would make it 100%. So it almost close to 100% move since this might be April. Yeah. So
6 months में तो इट्स अ वेरी वेरी एग्रेसिव वो ग्रोथ या
uptrend.
प्राइस इंक्रीज। हाँ, तो
Yes.
नीचे तो आना है।
Yes. Yeah. So with 2 weeks expiry, you should be good. That's why we recommend keeping little further expiry. So even if it goes 1 or 2 days up, you still have good enough time to make good profits on this put trade.
और लास्ट टाइम ऑल्सो कमल जब आपने बताया था ना कि एमएसटीआर का अगर 2 वीक आउट होता तो फिर ये प्रॉफिट बुकिंग होती, तो बिकॉज ऑफ योर एडवाइस आई वाज एबल टू क्लोज स्लाइटली अबव ब्रेक इवन। मैंने उसको जल्दी से क्लोज कर दिया एवरेज करके, एंड आई डिड नॉट होल्ड, एंड यू वर राइट, अदरवाइज वो आउट ऑफ मनी एक्सपायर हो जाता।
Right. So good. So with little farther expiry, you get premiums higher, but you have time on your side. So you get chance to, even if it goes against you for few days, you have chance to mm, close at break even or uh, make profit out of that put trade. Whereas if as you would have seen in couple of SPY trades, your analysis was right, but because theta decay happens, so
हाँ
your options doesn't worth the return that you would have expected,
हम्म।
right? Okay, so we have Google as Lubna's another request, and
गूगल का भी पुट है मेरे पास, तो इसका हमें
okay, so
डाउनवर्ड ट्रेंड ही निकालना है।
so Google and large tech stocks sometimes they take the market index up rather than coming down, but let's see, in on the monthly basis it has been in the overbought region and is above the upper Bollinger Band. Now, good thing, Lubna, because you are having put, your RSI and Williams R has flattened, almost flattened, which indicates that market is also realizing that it's now in overbought and time to pause. So because it's above the upper Bollinger Band on a monthly chart, let me see if I have quarterly for this. Yeah. Okay. So it's at all time high. So if you have taken further expiry, what's the expiry for your Google puts?
अनफॉर्चुनेटली दिस वीक, लेकिन कल उसकी अर्निंग्स भी है ना, हम ये एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि अर्निंग्स पे ही गिरेगा।
Okay. So yeah, that's if that's your play, then because it has been in uptrend, irrespective of the earnings, there should be profit booking. People who
हम्म,
have invested in Google. Uh,
अब बहुत चल गया ना। और कमल और मेरी एक्सपायरी भी उसकी है ना, क्या कहते हैं, सॉरी स्ट्राइक
Friday.
285, एंड आई फाउंड इट इन एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी क्या होती है वो एक्टिविटी ना? अनयूजुअल ऑप्शन एक्टिविटी में जब मैंने खरीदा था तो उस वक्त तो ये 2 वीक्स से ज्यादा की थी। तो अनयूजुअल में था और उसके इसी एक्सपायरी के जो मेरी है ना, पता नहीं 30,000 कितने पुट सेल हुए थे इसी एक्सपायरी के और 12 दिसंबर के। तो मार्केट, मेरा उस वक्त की अंडरस्टैंडिंग ये थी, मार्केट इज एक्सपेक्टिंग अ ड्रॉप एट अर्निंग्स।
Yeah, so what Lubna is saying, I've opened an option chain, and if you look at 285 put, there are over 10,000 open interest. And if you look on the, like, compared to the other strike price, that's why this strike price was more attractive to Lubna.
या 300 के मुकाबले में ये ज्यादा सेल हुए थे।
Yes. And then if you look on the, yeah, so there are not much interest on the higher side. So there's 7,700 on 340, but that's still lower compared to 285 puts, so which looks good. And if we see on 4-hour chart, the lower Bollinger Band is 315. So if the sell off doesn't happen in high volume, once your put is in profit, you book your profit because your strike price is 285 and current market price is 322.
20। हम्म।
So mid Bollinger Band here is 300. So 300, it could almost certainty, or 90-95% certainty it could touch, because yours is 285, which is close to this EMA here, 280, 285. Still 85 is a
पॉसिबिलिटी।
support. Yes, 280, 285 is a support. That's still possible, but because your expiry is shorter,
क्लोज।
as soon as your puts are in profit, you
मैं
book your profit.
33 सेंट्स की है मेरी एवरेज प्राइस, और मैंने जब खरीदा था ना तो 320 पे था ये। उसके बाद 314 पे भी आया, बट ड्यू टू प्राइस डेके वो अब 320 पे भी 30 सेंट्स का या उससे भी 7 सेंट पे क्लोज हुआ है। मेरी एवरेज है 33 सेंट्स की।
Yeah, yeah. So it would turn into profit if Google touches 300, because $22 का drop is a considerable drop in the intrinsic value.
राइट।
So uh, we just hope that upon earnings, that
हाँ,
someone sells it at good volume.
25-30 डॉलर गिर जाए बस।
Yeah. So for those who are holding Google for long term, you don't have to worry. It will recover later on. But for now, for short term, because of the technicals as well, monthly, weekly, it is in overbought, and there should be profit booking happening. All right, Nilang, you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question about the Google itself. Now, I'm holding only very handful stocks of Google, but I've made good profit. And I was thinking, because I've made profit, is it a good time to just take my principal out and keep rest invested? Um, and if market is expecting it to go down, I can re-enter at a lower price. I have some old holdings of Google's from around 160 $170 ka price.
Right.
I
So
can just
if you have,
take the principal out.
yeah, if you have Google at 160 price, you are already over 100% up,
Yeah.
right? So you can, in fact, book profit on 90% of your positions. You are saying, just taking out your capital. If you lose, if you keep the remaining part, your profit, you know that market is going to go down and you will lose your profit. So
Right.
if you sell, if you don't want to sell 90, at least 75 to 80% you should um, close, so that you take out your capital as well as your profit, and
Mm.
whatever is left is smaller portion of your profit. And this is based on technicals, because on a monthly basis it has been in overbought.
Yeah.
So some trigger would happen which will bring it down. It may not happen in this month itself, um, but the upside from here, and I would have put Fibonacci here. So the upside is 340 from the current level, which is another
Mm.
$20. So if you'd
Right.
like to uh, hold on position for next higher target, max 25% positions you could keep. If you book 75%, you are taking out your capital plus profit on your 25% of your positions.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
And, and I have a same question for Nvidia as well. I know it's been going hovering, so if we can just spend few minutes before I know we are over time.
We are way above time, but it is very interesting. You enjoying, like, it's so informative.
Thanks for that. Yeah, so we'll take this as second last, because there's one last circle and we'll close it. So Nvidia are around 205. That was expected to make it the first stock to hit 5 trillion. And after that, profit booking was expected.
Yeah.
So uh, same thing I would say, as I mentioned for Google as well, to book your profits. Now, Nvidia is right now on a daily chart, it is at the mid Bollinger Band, which, if you see closely, there's mid Bollinger Band, there are two EMAs, there's one more super trend indicator. It's all merging here, showing that this is now the
Resistance.
resistance, first resistance. However, if you want to still close at further higher price, 195 should be the price where you should consider to book position profit from 60 to 70% of your positions,
Okay.
because of its long uptrend. There would come a time where people would start looking at other opportunities. So you would already be more than 4 or 5 times if you have entered way earlier, or at least 2 times from start of the year,
Yeah, I'm
right?
already around 5 times from when I invested on Nvidia. Although, so now I regret because I had very handful positions of Nvidia that time. I didn't have uh, cash flow that time to invest. Now I regret that I did not put everything in Nvidia.
And that's okay. So still on your investments, um, you are 5x time, which is really awesome. Vivek sir is not on this call, so um, otherwise he would have mentioned for what target are you waiting. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I did mention few of them to close at 205, because at 205 it was going to be 5 trillion market
Yes.
cap, and obviously market sentiments do want to make that happen. So that time, you see, when it touched, next day it did go up, but then
Mhm.
people book profits. Okay, so just based on the weekly chart, currently at mid Bollinger Band, if it breaks this resistance, the this level here at close to 194 should be the target that you should be looking for. Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
you're welcome. And lastly, we'll circle back to circle.
Mhm.
Okay, Circle. It has started trading few months back. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. So on a weekly chart, based on the short period that we have on a weekly chart, it has given reversal on the week. Based on the weekly chart, the resistance to look for is 102, which is the 200 EMA on a weekly chart. Again, based on the short period that it has been trading, it started trading in January. Uh, so would suggest to look for target 100 or 102. Uh, Currently on the daily chart, it crossed the mid Bollinger Band, had gone up, faced the resistance at this $188, and then came down. In one of the stock earlier, I was saying it usually takes support at 5 EMA, so it almost touched the 5 EMA in the last session. So bless you. So if you would like to enter it at the current price, or rather this $82 would be a good price to enter. However, even if you would like to enter at the current price, the target that you should be looking for, there was a small gap down here. Uh, so 98.5 and 102 would be the targets that you should be looking for. If it goes further up, then 115, where there are two EMAs merging, but I would look for 115 for smaller quantity. Um, if Bitcoin touches 101K, it could be touching close to 102 as well. So that would be the time that you should consider to
तो
book your profit.
कमल जो
Mm-hmm.
जनवरी 15th के कॉल ले लें 110 102 के 100 के ले लेते हैं
100 would be better. 110, if
नहीं
it
100
doesn't,
था हम्म
100 is more suitable. Jan 900 call, if you take, it's at $3 12
हम्म
$3.12. Yeah. So if we look at 153, not many people taking calls, but yeah, 152. So your trade would execute, and you
हम्म
can plan to buy under $3.
राइट एंड कमल इसका ना पिछले लास्ट वीक नहीं उससे पहले वीक जब मैंने एमएसटीआर का पूछा था दर्शना ने ना 30 सेंट के या 50 सेंट के लिए थे जो 5-5 रुपए के हो गए थे जब बिटकॉइन उस दिन चला था ना तो
Nice,
लास्ट वीक नहीं उससे पहले वीक ना
nice,
टुवर्ड द
nice.
एंड में
Okay.
एक टिप दूंगी आईआरबीटी ना मैंने जल्दी सेल कर दिया मेरा 160 का उसका था वो भी दर्शना ने ही टिप दिया था और उसकी
Mhm.
9 तक जाने की है ना अभी 3.5 तो हो गया है
Okay.
आईआरबीटी वो मैं ये नहीं कह रही कि उसके एनालिसिस करने हैं आई एम जस्ट शेयरिंग अ लाइक टिप
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so it has almost touched $5. अब थोड़ी profit booking होगी, and then if you are interested, you can enter close to 290 or
हाँ
$3.20.
तो 5-20 ने टच कर लिया मैं तो 250 पे सेल कर दिया था ओ माय गॉड
Yeah, it happens. Sometimes, so this is a typical momentum stock. So within 4 days, it has moved from $2.50 to close to $5. So almost over 90% profit it made within short period. Okay, so thanks, Lubna, for sharing that. So just again, just to close off, if you have anyone interested in our holidays batch, please feel free to refer. We would be happy to have them in the batch. And I know Lubna would be there for a
हम्म
couple of classes,
हम्म
and Raj as well. So anyone else, please feel free to refer, and we would be happy to enroll you in the course. All right.
मैंने कमल 2 लोगों से बात की है अमेरिका में, मेरी 2 डॉक्टर फ्रेंड्स हैं, लेट्स सी इफ दे जॉइन और नॉट। मैंने उन्हें बताया तो है, लेट्स सी।
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hopefully they plan and they have availability to join, because this will be shorter batch, so they might be able to learn within the shorter period and get a glimpse of Vivek sir's passion in teaching and learning from him. All right. So with that, thank you everyone. Thanks for joining and sticking along this long. Hope you all have a profitable trading week, and good luck for your trades, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks everyone.